we all know that we all need to find a niche. But in this video, I want to explore some of the danger and risks that we have when it comes to niching. Now, you're probably wondering how to niche in the first place. So one of the things I always advise my mentees when I mentor them is that think about the industries that you have worked in, because those are the industries that you know best. Or look at your work experience. Who have you served? And what are the areas or skill set that you are very strong in? And that's where you niche. Whether you start a VA company or you start any sort of services, stick to the area that you actually know so that you can be strong in those areas. And so, for example, if I was to start a VA company again, I would probably start in something that I know. So I used to work for supply chain companies or government, or I used to work for e-commerce businesses. And so I could have chosen those as a niche. Now, let me share with you the first story around niching. Over 10 years ago, when I first started my marketing agency, one thing I did wrong and I regret it was kind of covering way too many services. So I offered website development, SEO, ads, and many more. And yes, there were the downside to it, which was that I just could not focus. There was just too many services, and that meant that I couldn't be great at anything. And so when I read the book called Built to Sell, which is really around focusing on one service and doing it so well so it can be repeated and you can kind of fine tune the process so that you deliver the best service for your clients. And so I got really excited and launched Outsourcing Angel and really stuck to just delivering virtual assistants. Now, for many years, we were just doing virtual assistant services. But what I found that by not really evolving and thinking outside the box, we were really stuck. Because the thing is, if you take things too literally and go, okay, I'm gonna niche and I'm gonna niche exactly to this only service and then only this particular customer, although it could be good for a while, and I think it is very beneficial, I think it puts us in a lot of risk. And why I say that is, for example, we were so focused on delivering VAs that we could not see the big picture of how to actually help our clients. And so we basically were just going, if you need a VA and you need to make sure you already have your processes and systems ready, and then the only thing we can do is give you a VA, because if you don't have systems and processes, well, too bad. Well, we can't help you. You have to go and find someone else. And it felt really good at that time, feeling proud that like we're only going to stick to this. But what it meant is that we really didn't transform the clients, because one thing is we are losing that opportunity to work with that client, but more importantly for me, it's realizing that we couldn't transform that client. And so what I mean by that is usually when a client comes in and they may think they need a VA, but what they really need is they need more time. They are stuck in their business and they need help. By offering only VA, we realized that we were doing them disservice, because what they really want is to transform their business. And so what we do now is we go, okay, you said you want a VA, but what is really the problem? And we realize that the problem is that, well, I'm so overwhelmed with all these projects and, my tools that I'm using, it's like, I know that it's manual work, and basically I know that I'm not working really smart, and I just feel like there's just so many things everywhere. But when we dissect the problem, we realize that what they don't have is proper systems and processes that even integrate it to one another, and the workflow that they have isn't really seamless. And so even if you throw in a VA or anyone working on the business for them, there will still be chaos. And so nowadays what we've discovered is that we wanted our company to be really life transformational to the client, and we thought outside of the box and to really think, okay, how do we go beyond just a VA service and offer this help to the client? And so I guess the trend, moving forward is really thinking, how can you niche in a sense where, okay, I'm niching in creating freedom for the business owner, but really thinking outside of the box and going, okay, what does that freedom look like, and what else can you add to your services so that you look very unique compared to other businesses, and you're also delivering a service that they can't get elsewhere because it's actually transforming them. And I'll give you another example is that when I interviewed on a podcast recently, on the EO podcast, which you can check it out, one of the guests was Scott. Now, Scott was explaining to me how his business was around packaging, but now when a client comes in, he also offers graphic design and other things that's associated to the packaging, because at the end of the day, it's, they came for packaging, but there's all these other needs that they need. Now, he doesn't take it all in-house and do it all, but he has partners. He has dedicated partners that can deliver all those services, but then he is the point of contact for the customer. So the customer will see that, okay, you're not just a packaging company. You are going to make my life easy and you're going to do all these things for me. And I know you might have partners in that, but that's okay. As long as I know that I'm working with you and you coordinate and you know what I need, I'm going to choose you. And that's really what has transformed his business and helped him to stand out and not just focusing on the one service, which is packaging. And it meant that people were comparing prices. If your package is more expensive than another package company, then, well, I'm going to choose the cheaper one. Whereas, no, I'm going to come to you now because you are delivering all these a full suite of services that I need, and I feel like it's going to save me convenience and time and not just money, right? It's not focusing on the money anymore. So another example of niching is that a while ago I was also regretting that I didn't niche in an industry. And so our customer base is kind of anybody in the small business space, and they could be financial planners, they could be real estate agents, and they could also be e-commerce stores or anything in between. What I realized is that sometimes with niching, it can come with the danger and with the risk. Number one, the benefit is that you know that industry really well and you can deliver the services and you become the specialist in that industry. But imagine the industry that we focus on was the restaurant industry, and what would have happened to our business have we stayed with that industry during COVID time? We would have been hit and wiped out. And so when I heard these horror stories about specific niche around a particular industry or type of business, I was horrid. I was like, oh my God, that would have been scary to have all your eggs in one basket. So I guess the advice that I have around niching is that yes, it's great to focus and rather than saying yes to everything and anybody, but really think that how can I niche in a way that still kind of look outside of the box and seeing that how can I cover my risk. So, one or two industries or as well as one or two services so that you can deliver best results for the clients as well as saving yourself, making sure that you don't take on all that risk. But the next question you're wondering is how deep can you niche? Now, with what I've said in this video, I think the best way to really approach this is to first start with niching into an area that you're interested in. Let's just say it was marketing and you wanted to do email marketing, and because marketing can be so broad, but within email marketing, you think about the before step and the after step of marketing. What do clients need to actually transform? Like, what are they looking for? They're trying to build a list. So if they're trying to build a list, they need an email campaign, but maybe it's the landing page part that you would do, as well as, maybe some content. So whatever it is that takes them from the beginning to the end around that area. But if you go too broad and go, okay, I'm going to do ads and I'm going to do website development, the full thing, as well as doing video production, video editing, that is when I feel like you are stretching yourself way too wide. Now, it's not that you can't cover all those things, but you can maybe make it clear that these are the areas that your partners will be delivering and not yourself. And so you still could be offering those transformational services that, a full suite of things, but it depends on yourself and your expertise to decide which ones that you will do in-house and which one you will partner with people. Now, as well as with customer base, it's always good to choose one or two type of customers in this similar industry, and I think that will also save you from being too risky with sticking to the one type of business. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Love to hear from you. If you have any questions around niching, put it in the comments below. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions around business or life. Would love to help you to achieve freedom in life. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.